Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bobble Pod. On this episode, we're going to talk about Bing ads, and the episode is rightly called "Don't Forget About Bing." And don't get distracted with Bing from Friends. We mean Bing as in Microsoft ads. But before we begin, as always, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe on all our streaming platforms. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to click on the bell notification subscribe button. And again, hello to everyone who's watching on YouTube. So, remember Bing ads? We were talking about this just before we started recording with Callum and Josh and how it is. And basically, it's an afterthought these days. If you were to do some advertising, Callum, would you consider Bing as part of that channel?
It was one of those where I just sort of went, I completely forgot that Bing it was existing. I obviously, because we talk so much about Google on the podcast, that I for a long time completely forgot that there were other search engines available. So it's one of those where you go, actually, no, I didn't think about Bing before today.
But that's what I mean by it's an afterthought, because it goes now by Microsoft ads. It's not Bing is the search engine, as we all know, but it used to be Bing ads. But now it goes as Microsoft ads. But Google remains the king. It remains the king of search. It's got the majority of the market share. If anything, the word Google's become a verb, and Microsoft are second in place. And just to show you how much power Google has, and you're right, we do normally tend to focus more on Google because most of our work is Google. When we break down paid search as a service, probably 90% of it, if not 95% of it, is Google. The other 5% is probably Bing, if that at all. But I was on a stats counter, global statistics. It's gs.statcounter.com. We'll put the link in the YouTube video of the vodcast recording. And it was looking at March data for search engine market share worldwide. Does anybody want to have a guess how much search share, should I say, Google had?
I'd say about 80%.
80%. Josh?
I'd say around 92.
Josh was the closest, 93.18%. So apparently they don't have a monopoly. Where that data goes from, I don't know. And that's worldwide. We can break this down by country. So globally, Google has 93.18%, and that's according to March 2023 data. If we look at it in the UK alone, it had 93.37%, so a slight increase. Bing in the UK accounts for 4.07%, so that's why it's an afterthought. In terms of actual market share, Bing has a very, very low amount, but then Bing also incorporates products like Yahoo, which is 1.48%, which is why I always say to clients there's anywhere between 5 and 8% market share in the UK in terms of Bing. Our approach with Bing, or let's call it correctly, Microsoft ads, is that we say to clients, well, after 3 to 6 months of running on Google, should we take the learnings in terms of, account structure, best keywords, practices, headlines, descriptions, and import them into Microsoft ads and run that at a low percentage? So if Google is around about 95% or even 92%, let's just say, of the market space in the UK, then around about 92% as a ballpark, as a figure you should use towards your ad spend towards that platform, and the other 8% should go on Bing. And there's quite a lot of benefits to Microsoft ads and using the Bing search platform. If you're very savvy in marketing, you would leverage the power of Microsoft ads and really try to understand exactly how to advertise on the Bing platform. So when we do Bing versus Google, most small to mid-sized companies know the importance of Google ads. That goes without saying. But so many people are asleep at the wheel when it comes to Microsoft ads. Setting up a campaign on Microsoft is just as easy, if not easier, than setting up a campaign on Google ads. So if you think, it's another platform, I have to learn it. Actually, the setup, the process, the back end, the settings, the adding users, adding it onto what we call an MCC on Google, adding onto as a partner on Microsoft ads is just as easier, if not easier than Google to do so. And also, as I mentioned, you can import your data from Google into Bing, saving lots of time. Just a bit of stats here. In terms of the search network data, the platform boasts 14.7 billion monthly PC searches and 653 million unique PC users. So, okay, that's global numbers, but that 8% is still worth something. And the benefit is the PPC rate in terms of cost per CPC is a lot cheaper as well. So when you use Microsoft ads, your ads won't just appear on one site. You'll actually be displayed across multiple sites in the same way Google does. Google has its search engine network. It has a search engine platform. It has its search network. Microsoft Ads has the exact same thing. So you'll appear on stuff like Bing, MSN, Yahoo, AOL. Microsoft and Yahoo are like several smaller partner sites that they work with and that they own and operate as part of what they call their search partners platforms, names that you would not even heard of, that even probably I don't even know of, that you need to be aware of. So when you advertise on Bing, it's not just Bing, it's all the other platforms as well. Any search engines associated with Microsoft advertising have a smaller audience segment. Just bear that in mind. The lower search volumes means less competition, which is an ideal placement for advertisers to get your costs per click down, to get your ad spend down if you really want to. But the best benefit of Microsoft ads, and most people don't know about this, is don't forget Microsoft owns what other social platform? Do you want to have a guess, Colin?
I was going to say, and this is me being old school, I was going to say MSN, to be fair. But that's me thinking of the old chats.
Josh, Microsoft bought a social platform. Everybody uses it. You use it. I use it. Callum, you use it. LinkedIn.
Oh, yes. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. Yes.
LinkedIn is owned by Microsoft, bought out by them a while back. So Microsoft is actually investing heavily into, well, not as a company, into a lot of key platforms, social platforms like LinkedIn. Don't forget, Microsoft made a play for TikTok that failed in the US. And that would have been a key platform for them, but unfortunately they didn't. But don't forget, Microsoft are heavily invested into OpenAI, which we now call ChatGPT 3 or 4, whichever platform version you're using. So you can actually, and not many people know this from a Microsoft perspective, is you can target audience by applying bid modifiers based on information pulled from LinkedIn. So you can target big ads based on company. I put such as Google in my notes, lol. So you can target people at Hootsuite or the government of Canada or the UK or US, doesn't really matter. You can target by industry such as like healthcare, manufacturing, corporate services, consumer goods. You can target by job function such as education, sales, art or design, or elements like that. So the elements that in terms of what you pull into LinkedIn in terms of an advertising platform, in terms of the actual bid modifiers and the audience targeting, you can actually pull into Bing ads. Many people don't really know that you can do that. It's a game changer as a feature, specifically for B2B services. As more B2B clients come to fruition, they're trying to attract more people, and specifically if you're working within a niche. Most B2B businesses are selling to businesses that selling to key decision makers within that company. That business tends to be a very, very specific niche. It could be highly technical, white paper writing company, for example, but things just get easier. You can find your top 10 wish list clients and search for that company and input that right industry and aim for marketing managers within that platform. So the targeting options are just so much more improved from that perspective. And Microsoft Bing is the only platform that has this capability. So if you're a B2B, if you're listening to this in your audience and you work within a B2B industry, or you're a marketing manager for a B2B company, or you work in an agency and you have a lot of B2B clients, then you should really be leveraging Microsoft Ads and the Bing platform for that and pulling in and integrating LinkedIn audience insights, bid modifiers into your campaign targeting. So that actually gives Microsoft its own USP outside of Google. Now, imagine if Microsoft were able to build that at scale. Unfortunately, they can't because of the dominance a platform like Google actually has. So when we use Bing for our clients, it's normally just at basic level. Because it's a basic level of spend, what we do is we wait 3 to 6 months, get the learnings from Google, which keywords are working well, text ads, headlines, descriptions, what kind of creative assets or video assets, if potentially anything, that are working quite well. And then we import that into Bing if they have the budget for Bing. But even now, I'll be completely transparent to anyone listening or watching on YouTube is we only probably have a handful, probably could count them on one hand, how many clients are leveraging Bing, even though we work with a Bing partner agency. We can get people £250 ad credit to start off with. It's still a hard sell because of it's perceived as such a low volume, non-afterthought platform. But as I just highlighted statistics, you're looking at 14.7 billion searches per month on PCs. So that's people not on their mobile devices, that's on actual physical PC laptops or PC, computer systems. Don't forget the default to any kind of PC is Bing, Microsoft Explorer. So any people like me that switch to Chrome, or I download Mozilla Firefox as different web browsers that are available to us. And even Apple, unfortunately, now, predefines to kind of Google, really. So it is limited by where it is, but the recent, I'm going to call it Microsoft Explorer, but it's actually called Edge. But the recent updates to the Bing search platform have been very, 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 very good. I actually similarize it to they become a bit like Google in terms of how that platform kind of works. And its user friendliness and how you create tabs from that as a user element has really, really improved. But many people don't know about this because, again, the volume of people using it is very, very, very low. There's a lot of elements within, obviously, Microsoft Ads that you can leverage that most people are not leveraging. And if you are B2B, really, really, really focus on leveraging your LinkedIn. So if you are doing LinkedIn advertising, you need to start taking that content, not content, but start taking that audience insights, what you're targeting, and start maybe testing with Bing. Bing doesn't need you to be spending £10,000, dollars, or whatever it is, currency that you're using to invest into the platform. You probably be easy to get away with that £500 to £1,000 a month in spend. And again, you can pull in the same conversion actions and conversion tracking that you have set up within Google Ads. So Bing versus Google, Google's always going to win just because the sheer size of the marketplace. If I go back to that stats platform and I look at US, what I found quite interesting is actually Bing has a higher marketplace in the US. Actually, globally, even though Google accounts for like 93%, in the US, it's only 88%. And Bing accounts for 6.6% and Yahoo 2.36%. So it has actually much more of a market share in the US than anywhere else. So if you're targeting US-based customers or platforms or clients, there it is. If we look at it from a mobile perspective, then actually Google dictates with 95%. So this website, it's gs.statcounter.com/go to search engine market share. And we'll share the link in the YouTube. Gives you a breakdown of marketplace by region, by platform. So all platforms, desktop, tablet, mobile, worldwide, Europe to Asia, UK, US, Germany. And you can look at last 12 months or historical data. A really, really good website if you want to know the latest status of what's going on in the search engine. And that can help you if you want to go into different markets in terms of how to do your budget breakdown if you're going to invest into Microsoft Ads. So it is a bit of an afterthought, isn't it? Bing. So there's not really much more to really add on to it because everything I've done in terms of a podcast from a perspective in terms of what you should be doing on Google, prioritizing, again, match types, all of that is included into Microsoft Ads. It's just that it's just not thought about, which is why the podcast is called Don't Forget About Bing. If you're looking at new ways to increase spend, if you go up to your agency, go up to your marketing department and say, we've got an extra couple of grand to spend, then try Bing.
How do you find the conversion rate on Bing?
We probably don't have enough data to actually be able to compare that. We have the industry benchmarks for like Google. So we know from an e-commerce perspective, Google as a platform should be delivering around about an average 4.4% ROAS. We know from a conversion rate, varies again by product and platform. If you're selling everyday household items at a low average order value, you're going to probably see, a slightly lower conversion rate, but it's volume. But then if you go for more niche products, you're only going to have a few sales, but probably more purchases or a higher conversion rate. So I can't give an average, and I can't compare to Bing because I don't have enough data. And we as an agency don't have enough data to compare, which is why we're talking about it. Because it's like, well, we've been pushing it a lot more now to our clients in terms of like, well, actually, let's get like a percentage, even 5 to 10% of your budget moved over to Bing and Microsoft Ads to see if it pulls in more conversions at a lower conversion rate, etc.
Do you think you could run a strategy that was sort of ignoring Google and just putting everything into Bing?
No, because the stats there show that you would be missing out on 90% of the marketplace. So whereas right now you're targeting 90% of the marketplace on Google globally, you're missing out on 6% within a platform called obviously Microsoft Ads. So if you then took all your budget out, first of all, I guarantee you wouldn't probably get all your budget away. So if you've got a customer who's spending 20 grand a month on Google Ads, they would not get the same volume of spend away on Microsoft Ads, basically based on one key principle: search volumes. You need to have enough people searching for those specific keyword search volumes, enough audience in terms of monthly searches to do that. And that's where Bing does not compete with Google. And that's why you can get 20 grand a month spend on Google easily, whereas you would struggle to do that on Bing Ads unless you're in a more broad category. But remember, every business and every need is different. We have clients in educational, but again, there's how many educational search terms are going to happen on Bing compared to Google. So you wouldn't be able to just do a Bing only strategy. Josh always coming in with the last couple of questions, always helps. So yeah, remember, it's not an afterthought. It's a platform that you should be using, you should be leveraging. Just start with it, and if you're struggling to start with it, import that element. Once you set up a Microsoft Ads account, an ad account, it gives you the option to import from Google. But be wary when you do that import, because if you import it at the budget levels, it's going to run at those budget levels and guidelines. So once you import the actual framework of the actual campaign, the breakdown, the campaign name, ad groups, keywords, ads, etc., you're going to have to do some manual work within the platform initially by making sure you set your budget. So have a budget in mind. And I always say 10% of what you're spending on Google to start with, and see where you can potentially scale it up to. But remember, you're not starting from scratch. You don't have to rebuild everything. Use existing data to transfer everything over. So if you have any questions on that, don't forget to reach out to us. Use the hashtags, hashtag Mr. Bobble, or hashtag Ask Bobble, or hashtag BobblePod. Thank you for listening, subscribing. Hopefully that's opened some insight into Bing and some of its USPs, like the LinkedIn advertising. We are taking a little bit of a recess now and regathering as we as Bobble are moving offices and moving into some new recording studios and new offices, which I know brings a smile to Callum's face as well. So we're having a little bit of recess now at the end of series 4, and we're launching now, not without any series, but just like usual weekly episodes, which might be the first one we do, which is will be coming from a location other than the UK. So please keep tuned in for that. So thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, and on YouTube. And we look forward to catching you on our next episode in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you.